Hello, chapter 4. Here we go. In chapter 4, the author introduces us to the world of semiotics, or the meaning that is given by symbols. When we recognize a symbol, it might or it might not provoke right away a reaction to it, but you at least are aware, can recognize it. If you're outside the culture whose symbol belongs to, then you are either gonna ask the member of the group, or you're just gonna make stuff up. So in chapter 4, we begin to see Rodriguez attempting to tell you that the symbol of maize is all around us, and including that the very ritual of it is a commune, to enter into commune, a commune like relationship with maize. We're consuming it. And as I point out in my lecture summary, written summary, what we're seeing is that corn being an invention, a manipulation, an incredible manipulation by human beings, particularly Mesoamericans, 9,000 years ago, where they took a wild plant, teosentli, which all they could provide for you is to fake your brain in believing that you were full. And the possibility that in the state of hunger and in desperation, because this is documented, one story from the Great Depression in the 1930s, people sometimes would just eat grass just to kind of calm the hunger pangs. So imagine 10,000 years ago, 9,000 years ago, and sometimes you didn't get food, and that hunger would accumulate. So before you know it, you're looking around and hoping not to eat something that's poisonous, and you run into teosentli. It calms down. It's hard, and you can chew on it and produce saliva. And if you eat enough of it, maybe it will calm the hunger pain down as you're trying to figure out how to obtain more nutritious food. And in the process, as presented in one theory, as you're waiting around for the night to go away, and around a fireplace, some of it pops up as popcorn, because maybe you spit it out into the fire and it just spits out back at you as popcorn. And before you know it, a light bulb comes into your mind where you might be able to use this. Let me fast forward. So eventually this wild plant is transformed into corn, but corn's still not useful, right? It's still, you're getting the bigger grains, bigger stalk, and at the same time, you need to invent a process to process what's within the corn kernel. And then you proceed to invent nixtamalization. Now, we're all today in the 21st century. We're still curious about how these steps, got going to produce this miracle crop that requires human intervention to be produced yearly. So here we are, fast forwarding across time, and the fact that there's a breakthrough in converting a wild plant into a human dependent crop, and then grabbing that crop and then transforming it through nixtamalization into something nutritious that will help you grow as a human community, particularly in Mesoamerica, which would eventually lead to full-blown civilization across Mexico, into North America, across North America, and down into South America. Now, keep in mind that the Peruvians are also, having found the evidence but they tend to take claim that the corn might have come out of Peru instead. But the evidence right now sides with Mexico because of the physical evidence of it, and plus the wide variety of corn that has been developed from the area. I mean, Peru has the same thing. Anyways, I'm not acquainted with at least the competition for seeing who invented corn. Anyways, going back to semiotics or the meaning of symbols. So here we have maize, and maize provides the sustenance, which in the process of sustaining your population, you give growth to a story. You give the story now solidity, and the story becomes myth. So now you have between the foundation, which is corn, and the myth, then you can have culture, and in the process of culture, you develop a civilization accordingly. And so this is Rodriguez's continual argument throughout his book as to why maize is the most solid piece of evidence to be able to reconstruct, reconfigure, reimagine your identity as a person who is descendant from native people, and including now the fact that maize, when he's not exaggerating when he says it's our mother maize, he's referring to the fact that now in modernity we see how maize plays a key role in expanding modernity and civilization, and we see it in the diversity of manners that's being used now across the technological landscape to this day. It's still playing a key role to feed animals and transfer protein for our ever-growing human population. Of course, we can criticize that to an extent, but I want to just focus on what chapter 4 is attempting to tell us of his further argumentation or strengthening his argumentation as to why maize is the key. All right. See you on chapter 5.